Previously in Hedge Knights, the Western Gate blueprints are improved for added effectiveness. Lazarus and Madsy fell ill to a strange and not well understood plague, but recovered with treatment from Sappho. Another young refugee showed up seeking shelter and joined us. A raid of visitors was easily repelled with the help from the mostly constructed Western Gate. A hearth was built in the middle of the mountain keep for warmth from the impending winter. Episode 5, Autumn Child. Having spent some time with the squires, Mr. decides to change his nickname. He explains to the others that he would like to be known as Arelco, and tells them that this was the name of the community he came from that fell to the visitors. They happily accommodate his wish. Repairs to the Eastern Gate are underway, making sure that the wild animals have food to eat in the winter. Additionally, the stockpiles of rice offered up to both bison and wild animals will be switched over to hay. Sappho decides on a nickname for the newest bison. He says that he wants to name her Tati. He says that in naming her, he'll take responsibility for her sterilization. Tangier realizes that the community doesn't have very much in the way of iron anymore, and knows that come deep winter, it won't be possible to easily trek to the southern Iron Mountain. So despite not being excited about the prospect of being away from her friends, she'll take the initiative and head out at next sunrise. Preparations have to be made to prepare for Judea and Megahoof's child. Proper light and good medicine must be acquired. Madsy and Arelco chat with one another in the wee hours. The rest of the community realizes that they both prefer nighttime, and they theorize that maybe this is an adaptation to the communities they originated from. The coastal adlets were, of course, diurnal, scavenging the ocean shores in the day and tending the nutrifungus farms on the gravel at night. Arelco and Madsy were not from the coastal communities. Nobody knows exactly where Madsy came from, but Arelco and his community hunted instead of fished. Arelco agreed, of course, that he would abide by the customs of the squires, so despite enjoying waste rat meat, he would have to cope with just rice. Fortifying all of the possible points of entry into the little keep is also a very important task. Tangier sets off to the south after digging out the last of the limestone. Sapo, with a little bit of extra time on his hands, decides to try to sow the rice paddocks one last time, despite the fact that it's quite likely the crops will die from the frost. There's no harm in trying, he thinks. The experiment with the toxin-absorbing trees is well underway. Very visible spheres of toxic-free soil can be seen around the trees, and the adlets are very hopeful that this is a sign their plan will work. The war horns are sounded once more. Luckily, Tangier had just returned home from mining the southern mountains, and everybody springs into action. They tell Madzi that she might have to abandon her cleaning duties a little early. The red-eyed horned devils are seen on the horizon. Madzi runs away from the battle, heading deeper into the keep. The visitors are seen fleeing. What morale they had is shattered and broken. Judea, angered that her baby shower was an unexpected visit from the visitors, decides to take it upon herself to kill the single survivor. Arelco is quite impressed with the combat capabilities of his newly adopted community. Seeing them all in action, knocking back arrows, and quelling the surge of enemies was indeed impressive. Megoof tells Arelco that they don't loot the bodies of the fallen, they leave them be. And Arelco says he understands. His community did the same thing. In fact, he had information they did not know, that if you do loot the bodies, they decay and their corpses cause poison and toxins. So it's best to haul them away. And he takes it upon himself to stack the bodies high. Lazarus only takes some light bruising from the battle and is tended by Sapo. Sapo thanks him for the bow and his service. He says, "Don't mention it." Arelco has some clothing worn out, and although he did not request replacements, Lazarus made note and takes it upon himself to make some clothing. Some linen trousers should suit him well. Judea is now in labor. Sapo and Megahoof prepare for the delivery. They had discussed names, ancestral names, and have come upon an agreement. This child, regardless of gender, will be named after grandparents. While Megahoof and Sapo deliver Judea's baby, the rest take the opportunity to organize the base just a little bit. After a difficult labor, Judea is ready for this ordeal to be done. And Megahoof thanks Sapo for all his work leading up to this point. The baby is healthy. They decided upon the name Bash Hudson, named after Judea's grandfather. The additional double layers of doors to fortify the keep are well underway. A stool and some baby toys are planned, and once Jadea is able to construct them, she's happy to build a little sliver of a future for her newborn child. Megahoof could not be any more proud. Due to the long labor, Sapo fell behind in cooking duties and realizes this and springs to wake to make sure that everybody stays well fed. The first batch of beer is ready from the fermenter. They hope they have the formula down. Sapo discusses with Jadea that it might be time to harvest the ambrosia before winter truly sets in. They're not sure if the crop is cold hardy or not. But Jadea says it might be most prudent to just wait and see. If it looks like the ambrosia is starting to rot in the fields, at least they will have learned something. They're not sure how much the tree will be able to handle the pollution that they've set aside for it, and they decide that it might be wisest to split up the amount of pollution amongst two trees, but to keep one tree free from pollution just in case this experiment kills the tree. A new batch of beer is queued up by Sapo. Tangier once again sets out south to continue mining, a task that she alone is capable of. Megahoof encourages her and says that when she gets back, she'll have ambrosia and beer waiting for her. It slipped Megahoof's mind, but he mentions that he now understands how to properly plow the soil, which might increase the yields for the next spring, and points out these techniques to Sappho and Lazarus to use. He mentions it might be best to avoid plowing around the ambrosia. He's not sure how the ambrosia root will be affected by the process, but thinks it should be fine to start plowing now ahead of time, and even to plow the hayfields for the bison. This is a task best shouldered by the entire community, for it is daunting indeed. Arelco mentions that when he plowed a spot underneath the hill root roots have died, and he mentions that it might be best to only plow the empty fields, for plowing where the crops currently stand will undoubtedly do damage to the root systems. Plans are made to fully plow the entire farm fields once frost takes them. The days are ever colder, and the squires must ready themselves for winter. One limestone hearth may not be enough to keep them warm. They previously planned to keep a door open as a way to lure the enemies into their trap with arrow loops, but this might not be a good tactic given the temperatures. Arauco did not come from an agrarian culture, but he does show a little bit of promise in plowing. He tries to mimic the motions of the others, and Lazarus and Judea make sure that his work is sound. The southern fields have almost been fully plowed, and they're excited about the amount of crop they might yield the following spring. Tangier noticed that they were running low on coal. So despite originally intending to mine more of the Iron Mountain, some coal would be a welcome sight to the rest of the squires. The little mountain to the northeast is also rich with coal, and there is probably yet undiscovered resources to be exploited by the squires as well. Madzie's education is coming along. Everybody in the community has taken the responsibility of educating her very seriously. She now further understands the culture and origins of the coastal adlets and hopes to one day experience the ocean, for she has never herself seen it. She practices her writing lessons and, with chalk, scrawls notes to herself and her friends in the community for them to discover in the morning. Expanding into the newly cleaned areas of the northeast section of the mountain keep will offer opportunity to build new bedrooms for the rest of the members. They're very excited about that prospect. There'll be a little bit of a disruption to the bedroom that Meghoof and Judea share, but they'll be relocated for their comfort and security in short order. Until they obtain some steel to build the vents to transfer heat around their little keep, it will be required to leave the doors open to regulate the temperature. And Lily has given birth to yet another bison calf. The members are not sure what to name this new calf. None of the toxic waste has been spotted to decay just yet, but with bated breath, they're hopeful it works. The last of the initial walls for this starter keep are blueprinted, laid out, and ready to be constructed. More of the pollution surrounding the keep is removed and relocated, and some of the rock and stone set to be removed. Sapo sees on the horizon a warg moving in his direction and rushes back to the keep for protection. They don't want to hunt this warg if they can help it. It's going to be important to get everyone inside. Sappo yells to Tangier and Madzi to bunker down and to stay indoors, hoping that the warg finds a different victim. The squeals of a rat can be heard in the horizon. Clearly, the warg has picked a different victim. The crops of the farm field have stopped growing. It's a bit too cold for any progress to be made. They won't start plowing until the frosts claim the seeds, but it's not likely they're going to get any more food from the fields this year. The secrets of sowing fruit trees is now understood by Megahoof, and he'll keep this a secret from the others until he's ready to reveal his plans for the farm fields in next season. Adlets used to incorporate strange mushrooms into their threads and fabrics, and if they are to stay protected from future visitor raids, this is a technology that he feels they must understand. Improperly planning the construction of the keep has collapsed a section of the roof down upon the hearth. Megahoof runs over to figure out what just happened and explains that the roofing that they have needs reinforcement. A granite column will be needed in the middle of the keep to make sure that this does not happen again. And a new sprout of ambrosia is spotted in the rice paddock. The first of the ambrosia sprouts is ready to be harvested again. Sappo and Lazarus gleefully get to work. There's much discussion about who will receive the next bedroom, and everybody concludes that Tangier is most deserving. They hope that this will help to turn around her mood as well. The last of the Foothold Mountain is being excavated by Tangier, while Madsy diligently cleans up the remaining pollution. Little baby Bash cries out in the wee hours of the night, something that this storyteller knows all too well. The Atlas have realized the warg has nearly killed off all of the animals that used to make this area their home. This is, of course, the natural order of nature. But watching it in real time, when they've struggled to keep these animals fed, saddens them a bit. This is not the first time smog has hit this community, and they really do hope that if they're dutiful enough to clear the terrible pollution around them, they might be able to stop this from occurring. It's only a few days until winter strikes this tiny little keep. Are these squires ready? Thank you for tuning in to Hedge Knights Autumn Child. If you have any feedback or questions for me, let me know in the comments below. If you would like to join my gaming community, Rhadamant.com has a link to Discord, as does the description of this video. If you would like to become one of my Patreon patrons with a chance to become a named character in any of my series, Rhadamant.com has a link to Patreon, as does Discord. Thank you so very much for watching. A special thank you to my Patreon patrons, Twitch subscribers, and viewers like you that support the channel and made it all the way to the credits. Thank you so very much. I hope to catch you next episode. Farewell, my fellow adlets.